Hello, and thank you for joining me on this webinar on managing teams. My name is Damien, and I've been working at Nexudus for a year and a half here in London, helping hundreds of spaces learn and navigate the Nexudus platform. Today, I'm going to be walking through how Nexudus can be used to manage and organize teams in your location, and how you can use this feature to share things like credits among members of a team and nominate a team paying member to receive the merged invoice of all the team charges, among other things. This webinar will last around 20 minutes with a Q&A session ongoing. Please leave any questions you may have within the Q&A section, not in the chat box, and we'll be responding to your questions in the Q&A box throughout the webinar. Any we don't have time to get to, we will follow up with you afterwards. The recording of this webinar will also be available after the session, along with a link to our previous webinars in case you've missed those. Okay, let's get started. So what is a team in Nexudus? In Nexudus, you can organize your members or contacts into a team. At its most basic, teams are a way of organizing your members into a group. Teams are usually used to set up companies or organizations or to give group discounts. Teams can be given special discounts on plans, bookings, or purchases, and they can pool their money credit, printing credit, and access to the space as well. So let's take a look at the Nexudus platform. So within Nexudus, the teams are found in Operations Teams. From here, you can see the teams that you have in your space, and we have three filters. So all, showing all of your teams, merged invoicing, the ones that have merged invoicing enabled, and published profile, the ones that have published profiles on the member directory. Okay, so let's go ahead and create a team. So to do this, I can just hit this button, Add Team, in the top right. And I'm going to call this Team D, for example. I can add a description if I want to about what the team does, and this is also visible to the team themselves. The next section down, the IT network, is if you're using our Wi-Fi LAN integration. This allows you to create a virtual LAN for the team in question on your network so that they can share files and things like that. Next up are the billing details. So within here, we have the merged invoicing, which for me is a key feature for teams. This allows you to select the team paying member. So for example, I can select Haley here, who will receive a single invoice if you enable the merge all invoices for this team option. On the renewal date on the team paying members contract, the other team members' charges are gathered and placed on one invoice and issued to this person that you've selected. It's important to note that if you are using the merged invoicing, that you need to ensure that everyone on the team is on the same billing cycle. So what I mean by that is that they're billed on the same day and that their invoice period, so for example, July, is in line so that those team invoices are in sync. Also, note that the team paying customer should probably be a member. A member meaning that they must have an active contract in order for the system to have a billing cycle to create that single invoice for the team. But if they are a contact, as in they do not have a contract and they're not a member, then an invoice is created for the customer every time a contract renews for a non-paying member, which may or may not be what you are looking to do. So next down are the credit sharing options. Sharing credit, meaning the credits available to the team paying member above can also be made available to the rest of the team. Enabling the option combine all credit from all team members will make the total amount of credit in the entire team available to everyone in the team. There's also an option to share access passes. We don't recommend doing that. Each team member should ideally have their own passes native to their accounts. But one scenario where you might want to use the shared time passes would be if you have a group of customers who share a limited amount of time in the space, and the total amount of time depends on how many customers there are in the team. So for example, you could have a team of 5 people. Maybe they get 10 hours each as part of their plans. And if you want those 50 hours in total to be pooled, potentially someone could use 15 hours while another member of that team might just use 5. So you would enable that option in that scenario so that they could combine their passes and therefore share them. Okay. Next option down is the team discounts. So this is the opportunity to add a discount for bookings, for passes, and products. Bear in mind that these discounts apply all the time to every member of the team. So we do have another section in finance discounts where you can add discount codes. Those can be more configured to cover specific scenarios or periods of time. There's a little bit more flexibility there. And we did do a previous webinar on discounts that explained this in detail, but that's worth keeping in mind. And we'll include a link to that in the email that goes out after this webinar. Lastly, you have the team profile settings for the team in the member directory. You can edit this for the team, but the team paying member also has access to this in the members portal where they can edit as they see fit. So they have a profile summary, the skills or industries for their team. They can upload their logo and images and things like that. So I'm just going to go ahead and save this team. So if I go to a team paying member like Tara here, and I go to account, and then I select to access her account, this logs me in as Tara, and I can show you what it looks like from the team paying member perspective from the member portal. So I go to my account, and they have this My Team section. And within the My Team tab, they have their profile here, the name of their team. They can add a website, their logo. They can choose whether to list their team in the member directory or not, adjust their skills. And there's an invite link where they can invite others to sign up to join the team, for example. And then also she has control over the permissions that various people in her team have. So for example, Kelly here is not able to make bookings. Darshal and Christopher aren't able to make bookings either. So Tara has made it so that she is the only person on the team that is able to make bookings. So that's a useful thing to be aware of. So I've saved this team, team D. So if I click back through to it, we can see that there are now sign-up links. So like the same sign-up link that we saw for Tara on the member portal, as an administrator, you can pass these links to the team so that it can save you time. So if, for example, you had a large organization joining with 30 members, then you can have them sign themselves up to the team using this invite link. So if they're existing customers, they can sign up using the first one. And if they're brand new to Nexudus, then they can sign up using the second one. You can even select a default plan that they're signed up to when they sign up. So for example, I could say dedicated desk, and that would be applied to them automatically when they sign up to this plan. And then I can also cap the number of people who are in the team. So I could say 10, for example. So a maximum of 10 people, including the team paying member, would be able to sign up. Under this, I'm also able to add team members here. So I can do this with searching for existing members, or I can sign someone brand new up to the team from here as well. Or alternatively, if I go to settings and imports, you can import customers using a CSV file that we provide a template for. So if you have a very large team, then you could always format the CSV file and use the team column to have them imported directly to the team in question. So you don't have to manually be creating those members or asking them to sign up via the sign up link. Okay. There's also an option within the team that I can show you to cancel the entire team. So again, if you have a very large team that are leaving your location, for example, you can cancel all of their contracts at once by using that button. And then there are also options at the top where you can adjust the billing settings, those discounts that we talked about, or the public profile after you've created the team. So let's look at some other example teams. So with team A here, for example, I've created a team paying member with a contract. So Tara here, I've created a contract for her for a private office that costs £2,000. In that contract, I fixed that price for the number of members and the cost of this office for this team. For each of the other team members, however, I've given them team member contracts on a team member plan, which are priced at 0. So in effect, I have put the total cost for the team on the team paying member, and everyone else is priced at 0. This is one method of doing this, having the team paying members contract cover the entire cost while individual team members have their own individual contracts at 0, so that they don't contribute to the total cost, but are still members on an active contract. They have their own passes, they have access to the member-only features of the website, the member-only resources, and if they incur any additional charges for products, bookings, etc., those will be placed on the merged invoice that the team paying member pays. This type of setup is most usually used when you would be selling a private office to a company, because then you can put that total price on the contract that you've assigned to the team paying member. So next up is Team B. Here I've given all the members, including the team paying member, the same contract for £500. So on the merged invoice for the team paying member will pay for each of the members' memberships as well as their own. So in both Team A and in Team B, the total membership cost will be £2,000. But these are different ways of setting up the teams to achieve the same thing. So you can decide what works best for you for your location and in the given scenario. This setup would most usually be used if you have a team that is signing up for hot desks or dedicated desks for their members. The total is made up of each hot desk contract assigned to the team members to make up that total. Okay, and then we have Team C. So Team C, I've decided, are a nonprofit organization, and to do that and to help them out, I've added a discount of 20% off their plans. So you can also just use this as a way of grouping people together. So they don't even have to be part of the same organization. So I could switch off merge all invoicing for the team, for example, and I could remove the team paying customer. And these can just be a grouping of people that I have in my space, for example, entrepreneurs. And I can just use this as an easy way to offer a discount to all of those people. That applies in every scenario. Okay. So it's also good to point out that while the team paying member pays for all of the charges by default, there are 2 exceptions. So oftentimes when you have events in your space, you would want the event ticket purchase that cost to go to the team members themselves and not on the merged invoice. So you can go to Settings, Website Modules, and Events. And there's an option here, Invoice the event buyer instead of the paying member, which means that the individual ticket purchases will go to the individual members and don't end up on that merged invoice. Another example is if you are an admin and you want to sell a product directly to a team member, you can go to their sales and product section. And when you add the products to them, so for example, this day pass, I can invoice this customer instead of the paying customer of the team. So on a case-by-case basis, when selling a product, I can decide that it's invoiced directly to the team member and not part of that merged invoice. Okay. There are also 2 team-based reports. So in reports, there is bookings by team. And this helps you review the bookings and credit usage of teams in your location. And you can set the date range that you want that to be across and export as an Excel. And then there's also desks by teams, so under the desk folder. And this is if you're assigning desks to contracts, you can review those assignments within this report. Okay, just before we start to finish, I want to bring your attention to some other things to consider with teams. In terms of door access control, if you have an integration for access control for the doors of your space, for example, Salto, Doorflow, Keysi, Brevo, if you have these connected to your offices, you can assign an office to the contract of the team paying member, like I have here with Office 2 for Tara. And if this office is connected to the door access control, this will also grant access to her team members to her office that's assigned to her contract. Another thing to consider is within the booking resources, so typically meeting rooms, there are these options for no return policies, we call them, in the rules. So this is a way that you can prevent members from booking out the same room, or rooms more generally, back to back. by adding a mandatory buffer in which they are not allowed to book the same room or different rooms to allow others to be able to book them in a fair way. There are two options here that include made by the same user or the team. And this is to allow others to be able to book so that they couldn't simply ask a teammate to book the room for them, because their teammates will also be prevented from making another booking for the room, or rooms, depending on how you've configured this, because that mandatory buffer exists. Finally, within a team member's account, there is also some specific options. So with Kelly here, for example, there are specific options that are worth taking a look at. So I can go to accounts and payments. And there is an option here to let this customer access invoices issued to the paying customer of the team. So if you have merged invoicing enabled for a team, that invoice will carry all of the team charges and by default will only be viewable by that team paying member. But by enabling this setting for a team member, you can also enable that member to see the invoice that's been generated for the team. So maybe they're a supervisor or another manager that needs access to that information. Another setting is found within the Services tab. And here in Services, you have the option to notify the entire team when a new delivery is received for this customer, and the option to nominate a specific notification email as well. So that's useful if you want to ensure that everyone is alerted to a new delivery for a particular member. Okay. So to summarize, the team functionality allows you to group your members together. It allows you to merge their invoicing, and you can share benefits like credits, passes, and discounts. You can also open up other options for the integrations like door access control, and they can publish their own team profile on the member directory. So hopefully all of this was helpful and informative. My colleague Adrian has been answering your questions during the webinar, and I can check if there are any left. For anything that we didn't cover, we will get in touch with you directly. For anything else, please feel free to get in touch with us at support@nexudus.com, or you can take a look at our knowledge base at learn.nexudus.com. For some further information on teams, billing, and how to set up plans and members, we'll be sending you an email with the link to this recording and our previous webinar shortly. So thank you for joining us, and we'll be sending out the details of our next webinar soon. Thanks, guys.